this meeting of Thatcham Town Council. Madam Clerk, yes, the meeting is being recorded for publication on the Thatcham Town Council YouTube channel. And you do realise anything you say could be there forever, recorded forever, if not longer. Thank you. Makes you think, doesn't it? Yeah, for posterity, to infinity and beyond. Anyway, first up, apologies for absence.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Apologies received from councillors Lourdes Cottam and Lee Dillon.
Thank you very much. Are there any declarations of interest, members, on any item on the agenda this evening? Thank you. We then have none declared. We then have public question time.
None received, Mr.
None have
Mayor.
been received. We have the minutes of the meeting held on the 26th of September in front of you. Yes. You're happy to propose. Thank you. Thank you very much. All those in favour of adopting these minutes, thank you very much. And I'll sign whichever one you this one. One abstention. I think you can still make form. Anyway, I'm going to sign them here. Okay. Okay, thank you, members. And then reports from the mayor. Bring that up on screen. It's already there. So I will read this out and refer to the events and engagements I've done. My photo montage, good as it is not as good as Deputy Mayor's. He has clear skills in this area, but we do our best. I'm delighted to report that I've undertaken 52 engagements since the last full council meeting on the 26th of September. Cheating a little bit though, because the major activity and highlights are of our tremendous festival, where I attended 30 of the events and enjoyed every one. It's a bit of a marathon though, 30 over 10 days, but immensely enjoyable. And of course, the festival will become a key event in our calendar. There's something for everyone. Everybody enjoyed it, but we're already talking about how we might improve it next year with activities for teenagers, including a bands event. We might know somebody who knows a band over there. And, just always looking to improve it, but it is so well now entrenched in our calendar. And I don't think I went to any that I would even say was so-so. They were all tremendous. I hope you all made a point of going to them. I'm now an aficionado, having not necessarily gone to as many as I should in the past. I suppose if I were to highlight any, I would be doing a disservice to those I've mentioned. So I'll simply thank all of those who took part, very talented, and all of our staff who worked very hard as well. Not just those in events, John and Georgie, but all of our staff work very hard, and they're drawn into it to help it become a tremendous event. But I won't thank anyone in particular, because Councillor Cole and I, knowing, and Councillor Lucroft being amateur dramatists, when you start thanking people, you upset those you leave behind. And you have never seen such prima donna behaviour for some of the people you might miss. Of the other 22 events, I was very pleased to visit Kennet School and Parson Down School. And I think I told you I'm looking to visit all of the Thatcham schools. I've now visited Whitelands, Spurcroft, Kennet School, Parson Down. I'm looking to go to the others, visit the others in January and February. They've all got, to me, from what I see, very dedicated staff, lovely children, young people, young adults. They seem happy, highly engaged. It's a pleasure to meet them and represent them. The thing that comes across to me is that the role of mayor is very respected in our town. And it's a privilege to do this job because for 29 years I've been a councillor and I've struggled to find the respect. Well, within reach. But you put this on and people relate to it straight away, you know. And I think it's more the necklace than my engaging personality. Of course. The weather was very kind to us for our Remembrance Service and Remembrance Day Parade. But if we scroll down here, our Jubilee Sensory Garden, tremendous facility. Our challenge is to make sure people know about it, and we advertise and get the PR up so people come across and use it. I think we judge that in the spring, but we've got to get it signposted in the town and other places. Thank you. Part of the festival, you'll recognise some of those. That was U3A and the Great Fest Off. Then the fun on the Broadway, and also the Memorial Hall Field. That vehicle was about 1935 and seen in Downton Abbey. I thought you'd recognise it, but there you are. And then a whole range of activities, and one by I think that was Simon Jardine, but this one in particular made an old man very happy, I've got to tell you. This is the Thatcham Tornadoes girls tournament, and as I got there, these pair of twins came running up, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, you know, and they were charming, utterly charming. So brought a tear to my eye, but this is either Toria and Mimi or the other way around. This is either Ivy or Amelia or the other way around. And hopefully the adult men will be holding the World Cup in a few weeks' time. But as a result of that, I've asked them to come along and help me switch the Christmas lights. Oh, yes. I'm an old softie, really. Yes, and didn't realise. Very good. If you could scroll on a little bit. We had the blue plaque unveiling. Again, the weather was good for us. The weather held, and I think it's a really excellent thing in terms of the quality is excellent. I shouldn't say that with surprise. And then if we go down, and of course we had the Remembrance Day Parade, the launch of the Swift Christmas Toy Appeals, where they will get up to 10,000 toys that they will distribute across the district. I visited the Priory, Caramar, and was very impressed with the work they're doing. I will say something about that on another occasion, but again, dedicated staff. They put, most of you will know, they put a big lounge on the front, which has enhanced the building, which I look at as value to the residents. And then in UK Parliament Week, I went along to Brownies and talked to them about UK Parliament. And you will be pleased to know I stayed apolitical. I just talked about the mechanism of Parliament and local councils. And then on Sunday, I've got to give them credit. Castle Pub up the hill by the Spotted Dog are raising money for Newbury Cancer Care, and they set up a sort of market, and Santa was there, and it was just great fun. And Amy and Paul and Mary up there are doing several more over the weeks ahead. So great times had by all, really. I also attended the judicial service at the Reading Minster, where I noticed a pair of Sikh drummers made Mrs. Theresa May bop along to their excellent beat. I think when Theresa May hears some music, she can't resist sort of going along to the rhythm. And it was extraordinary. I shall dine out on that story one of the time. So I continue with the busy schedule. We begin the festive season, and there are quite a few going on. Sorry, not at all, not at all. You were at a dinner party with Theresa May recently, were you? Oh, of course, of course. And I do feel very privileged to be your mayor. As I've said before, that our residents respect the role. I'm enjoying it immensely. I'm now up to 108 engagements in just about 6.5 months. Somebody set me a challenge around the table. I won't share the number, but I'm going along at a good pace, and we'll see where we get to the end of the year. My legacy project is also coming along extremely well. We only have 4 scenes to allocate. The Ukraine war, the Middle East, the war in the 6-Day War and the Yom Kippur War, Brexit, going in and going out, joining the EU and coming out, and the Good Friday Agreement and the troubles in Northern Ireland. So we're coming on pace. You're seeing them arrive, and you know, some of them are spectacular and some of them are just excellent. So I've said
Well
it.
done, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, I had quite a busy October. Back at the beginning of the month, there were a few things going on. I was very pleased to attend the Berkshire Vision AGM, which was interesting for me as it encompassed the whole of Berkshire, had representatives in Wokingham from across the region. And as is said there, the guest speaker, Katie Crowhurst, who sight impaired, triathlete, and got a gold medal whilst doing her A-levels. It makes you feel somehow inadequate, doesn't it? That was a very interesting meeting. And on the 1st of October, joined the Veterans Breakfast at the Rugby Club. Thatcham Rugby Club, very go-ahead and community-minded organisation. They've got a great clubhouse there, and are very keen to run community events. So they do this regularly for the veterans, but they're quite keen to do other things like homework clubs or other things in the evening for those maybe who are struggling with energy bills and so on. They're quite open to interesting ideas, anything they can do from their clubhouse there. And they have a great range of real ales, and they're open to the public. So much to be recommended there. Joined the mayor for the opening of the Sensory Garden, which is just mentioned, which was very proud day to help unveil the garden. Very fine indeed. And soon after the opening of the Focus on Thatcham exhibition at Newbury Museum, if anybody hasn't been to see that yet, I thoroughly recommend it. It really is very, very good indeed. Excellent snapshot of Thatcham's history. Also on the 6th, I took part in the Memorial Hall celebrations for their 75th anniversary. The Lord Lieutenant was there, as was plenty of cake, and that was a fine evening to be part of. And then a little while later joined the founding students of the Kennet for their regular reunion, and there's some more cake there. And, it's the same one. Very well be. Yeah, that was a good day. And Greenham Trust 25th anniversary, as I say, I mean, it really is great to have them as part of our local community and to reflect on all the things that they've helped us to achieve through the good exchange and the other things that they do. So obviously the mayor said a lot about Thatcham Festival. I didn't get to 30 events, but Jenny and I did get to about 20, we reckon. And that's just a photo collage of some of my highlights. Again, I mean, I wouldn't draw attention to anything particular, particularly the photo in the middle. Yeah, I mean, just a wonderful week or so, and really enjoyed being part of this event. Well, actually, one I would draw attention to, the dementia bus, and I was only going to pop in there, but I was kind of dragged into the bus and took part in the sensory exploration of dementia and all its effects, and then watch the video afterwards. And it's a really interesting experience that. finding out a little bit about the effects of dementia and how it really can affect people. And I'd recommend that if you have the opportunity to take part in that in the future. But yeah, really excellent festival, and very glad to take part in it. And then just a couple of events towards the end. United Nations Day, as the Mayor of Newbury and Mr. Panting and myself standing on the steps of the Newbury Town Hall. I was actually made to stand 2 steps.
And the mayor still didn't get up to it. It was stratosphere.
But very pleased to take part in that, and of course all the remembrance activities towards the end of the month. And that's my report.
Very
Thank you,
good.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Thank you for all the support you're giving me. And I find it's easy to say how much you're enjoying the role as well.
Yes, very much indeed.
So, without further ado, we're on to approval and adoption of committee minutes since we last met. I'm here to receive and consider adoption of the following committee minutes. Recreation and Committee minutes dated 10th of October 2022 and 21st November 2022. Would you like to so propose? I think you introduced them. Sorry, you say I propose that the committee minutes dated 10th of October
I'm sorry. Yes,
are adopted.
indeed. I propose the minutes of the 10th of October and the 21st of November.
You propose, you seconded, Councillor Woodhams. All those in favour? No abstentions. Thank you very much. And then I'll go into F&GP, please, finance and general purposes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Could I propose that we receive and adopt the minutes of the Finance and General Purposes Committee dated 21st of October 2022.
Very good. Does that find a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Lister. All those in favour? Thank you very much. We have a few on the Planning and Highways Committee minutes. Councillor Pike.
Propose that we receive and adopt the minutes of the Planning and Highways Committee on these 4 days, so I won't read them all out.
11, 21st. You can see them on the paperwork. Do I have a second of that, Councillor Lister? Thank you very much. All those in favour? Thank you very much. Councillor Jeffrey, you may be up next on Town Centre Committee minutes.
When I get to it, I'd like to, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to propose the adoption of the minutes of the Town Centre Committee on the 14th of November.
Does that find a second then? Thank you, Councillor Lister again. All those in favour? I will myself propose the adoption of the Staff Committee minutes dated 10th of October 2022. So proposed, is there a seconder? Councillor Lillycrop, thank you very much. All those in favour of the minutes of the Staff Committee meeting? That's unanimous on all. And we can move on to accessible play equipment. Madam Clerk, are you going to introduce us?
And Mr. Mayor, thank you. The Recreation and Amenities Committee and Accessible Play Equipment Working Party have been working on plans to install accessible play equipment in a few of our play areas. The project has received £19,950 of District Councillors members' bids funding. There was £20,000 already allocated in this year's budget for this project, and there's just an additional £627.59 to make up the total project cost of £40,577. There is an allowance of £1,000 contingency, but at this stage we don't believe that should be necessary. So it's really asking council to ratify the expenditure of £20,627.59 for this project, please.
Would you like to introduce it as Chairman RNA?
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Been working on this project for quite some time, and I think it will bring a great deal of opportunity for the children of the town, and provide great new play equipment in basically all the areas where our population resides. So with that, I would like to propose this item.
Thank you. Did that find a second now? I think Councillor Cotton indicated
just like
you'd like to speak, yeah?
Yes, just to say, I think this should set precedent that all of these equipment are dual use. That they are made so that disadvantaged or disabled children can play at the same time with their friends on a piece of equipment. And I think that is something really to cherish, that we roll this out. And in future, when we look at doing new pieces of paper, we try and always consider if it's practical to be able to continue this throughout our rolling out of new equipment. Thank you. With that, I second the.
So you've seconded it. Other comments or?
My point has been covered.
Okay, okay. Then it'd be great if we had a vote on this and it was unanimous. But it's not compulsory. But it's, I'm sure, a good thing for the town. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. And well done to all those involved in that. Clark and next one is interim internal audit report, which is on your paperwork. And again, Madam Clerk, I'm sure you'll introduce this, and it is interim, so it's half year.
That's right.
Yeah, over to you then, if I may.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You'll see from the summary report that 91 items were tested during the interim audit. Positive response to 90 of them, negative to 1 and 3 recommendations. And those recommendations, which also cover the negative response, are summarised in this table. The investment strategy wasn't published on our website, but it is now and duly noted for future years. When the annual return papers were uploaded to the website, I had redacted signatures for GDPR reasons, but apparently they do need to be signed copies that go on the website. So again, that was immediately addressed and duly noted for next time. And this the final item links to the Town Council being the trustee of Turnfield's charity. There is an investment that we need to just track down where the original paperwork is, basically. We believe it to be in shares, but we just need to identify exactly where that money is held. So that's a task that the finance manager is taking on, ready for the year-end audit.
Okay, okay. Are there any comments from members? Councillor Cotton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pretty clean audit, I think.
Excellent. Thank you for that contribution.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate the staff on their really good job that they've done throughout the year.
Thank you. Are you proposing that they be received
Yes.
and adopted?
Close that.
Do I have a seconder? Seconder, thank you, Councillor Cole. All those in favour? Good outcome, I'd have thought. Yeah, thank you very much. And then we have the conclusion of the external audit for the year 21-22, and that's Little John, I suppose, is it? PKF?
It is indeed,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor. And apart from the item that was highlighted at year end about the incorrect notice period being 1 or 2 days short that was declared, PKF have acknowledged that, and we still get the response that nothing has come to their attention, which is the best outcome that you can hope for on an external audit. So.
Councillor Cole, I look to you as chair of FNGP.
Clean audit, I think.
Excellent. Is there football on? You want to get home to? Very good. So I think you propose that then, chair of FNGP.
Delighted to,
Very good.
I echo Councillor Cotton's comments about the internal audit.
Very good, thank you. And Councillor Elizabeth would like to second. So I'm going again, making good progress. I'm going to ask all those in favour of adoption of this. Thank you very much indeed. It's all going too well, Madam Clerk. Okay, reports from Thatcham Town Council, West Berkshire District Councillors on council surgeries. And we have some paperwork that the clerk has brought up on the screen. Any follow-up, or do we want to talk about these, Councillor Littlejohn?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to say really on this one that I'm sure Councillor Cole will agree that the overriding theme of our last surgery were the issues surrounding the local pharmacies, and it does make you stop and think that you know, we do take our medical services for granted sometimes, and we do rely very heavily on them, and we're very lucky to have great NHS services in the town, great pharmacies too. Ordinarily, clearly there have been some issues with the pharmacy service in recent weeks, and you do feel a little bit helpless at the surgery not being able to always to inform and to help people with questions of that kind. So I really just wanted to propose a vote of thanks to Councillor Jeffrey, who took it upon himself to investigate this for us, and has been able to work with the incoming pharmacists and the organisations involved, and communicate to the people of Thatcham exactly what was going on with the pharmacy service. So personally very grateful. Thank you for that.
Thank you for that, Councillor Cotton.
Councillor, sorry, Chairman, Mr. Mayor, through you, may I ask Councillor Jeffries for an update as to what the position is on this at the moment, please?
You are so invited, Councillor Jeffrey.
Thank you very much indeed. I was going to reserve that for item B. Well, as the Deputy Mayor is saying, there's a fair amount of time has been spent, but it's been well spent. And the keynote that I think I'd like to make very public is how much the barcode surgery, how much the local manager, who is now covering Lloyd's chemists in not just medium Thatcham, but also a number of counties. A great deal of work has been put in. It's been put in a very sensible and rational way, and the result is that literally this morning the Crown Mead pharmacy did indeed reopen as a pharmacy, so people that are needing a prescription can take it in and stay there in the warm and dry until it's dispensed, and is also functioning as an ordinary chemist shop. Now, if you know, you go in and get whatever it is, a tube oint or something, then you can actually do that again now. There's a lot of work that's gone in on their side, but to give the negative comment, obviously, if things hadn't gone wrong, they wouldn't have needed to put all the effort in to get them back to be working properly. I think I am reasonably confident that with Crown Mead going back to normal working, it will take the pressure off the Berkshire Centre, some of Lloyd's the Berkshire Centre, and will reduce the pressure on the boots that is actually in the was in the surgery. We wait to see what happens, and obviously, having got this far down the line, I'm not going to let go of it if I start to see it going a bit wrong. Perhaps other comments to make are that things that I have discovered in the last 3 weeks is that the pharmacy services in this country are working on some very slim pickings in terms of personnel. We have not got enough pharmacists because you have you have pharmacists in the hospitals for obvious reasons. You also now have pharmacists, generally speaking, in every surgery, and you have the need for pharmacists in the ordinary chemist shops. and the demand for pharmacies is greater than the current supply. We're talking about a 4-year degree to be a pharmacist, and the certificate at the end, which is generally an extra year. So it's a 5-year course to become a pharmacist. This is no mean feat to go into. And I think that as a nation, we need to look at where our priorities lie, because it's yet another part of the NHS which is not being adequately funded to do the job properly. And what we saw in Thatcham for the last 3 or 4 weeks is just an example of what is happening in so many services that we've got in the country. Well, those would be my comments. I have actually taken the liberty of starting a petition which you can get out online, or I have got paper copies that you can fill in, and that is requesting that the government should put more money into pharmacy services. And I have been in correspondence with Laura Farris, our MP, where we maybe have different approaches, but we are actually both going after the same end solution. I think she's more concerned about what's happening here, and I'm a bit more concerned she should be working with what's happening in the government, because she's the one that's actually there in the House of Commons and could do something there, which I certainly can't. But those would be my comments. Thank you very much indeed.
And Councillor Jeffrey, I think it's also true that you have made progress with the surgery itself, the health centre, and they've opening the doors and allowing some of the people waiting, as they used to do, to go into that pharmacy.
That's great, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent, excellent, very well done indeed. Load of thanks to you, I think, today. Thank you. Thank you. The other items on here, the men's toilet cubicle now in the toilets. It's coming back on song 7th of December, is that?
Yes,
Doing
Mr. Mayor,
expected?
all the work has been completed.
Okay. And then the other one is others appear to be more rubbish in alleyways and overgrown hedges. So I think we note that, we thank you for what you've done. And we move on, unless you stop me, to the next item, which is reports from West Berkshire District Councillors. Councillor Cotton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I think basically I can come with what I believe is some good news. It seems that through the pressure being exerted by this council, and specifically Councillor David Lister and Councillor Simon Pike, in their long and hard work, that there should be seen as we're hoping to see a major reduction in the number of houses that are being proposed for the northeast of Thatcham. And I think that's in big part due to this solid defence that this town council has actually put forward. Just some updates. The traveller site on Lawrence's Lane, that is still ongoing. It's going to appeal, and I know that again as Councillor Pike is actually acting on our behalf there, I believe. So we will wait with bated breath what we can do. I have some also good news that we unanimously in the Eastern Area Planning venue that we all stopped the flats being built on the Chapel Street, but we can't sit and relax on this. And what I may suggest and may review is that we try to put some protection on these that I believe are built in around the 1830s. They are some of the very oldest buildings, and I believe that they deserve our protection. And if we can look at ways to try and show, for example, inspectors that these are cherished by our community because they are part of our street scene. And I think as the application came through, it would actually destroy that street. It's a street scene. As you come into the centre of Thatcham, I think that reflects part of the history of our town. So that's also some news. Thank you.
Yeah, well said.
Councillor Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Trotton started off with good news. I fear I still don't see it as good news because we will still get 1,500 houses
I didn't.
under that proposal. we still have the same pressure on secondary education. Sorry, Madam Clerk, I need to declare an interest being chair of the directors of Kennett Schools Academy Trust. We will still have pressures on doctors' surgeries. We will still have pressures on pharmacies. We will still have flooding. We will still have traffic. So 1,500 houses, yes, is a very welcome reduction from 2,500 houses. I still think it is too many for this town to be able to cope with the infrastructure we have.
I'll bring you back in a second.
Just one line.
I'll bring you back in a second. I'd like to make a comment or two myself. You see, Councillor Pike, this is how we managed to drag this meeting out. It is progress of sorts. That in an original plan intention to put 2,500 homes to the A4 has become 1,500. There will be still arguments as to not only is that too many, but does it have the infrastructure behind it that we need? And this is an emotive subject. But if you talk to young people trying to move out from home, they need somewhere to go and live. They need somewhere to go and buy. There's a balance between what the town can take for the residents of the town to be able to stay local and the infrastructure to catch it up. What I'm personally determined to achieve, if we can, and Councillor Jeffrey was pressing for this some years ago, within any development that we see, whatever the number of houses, we get a new secondary school campus to replace the Kennett School. And potentially to replace the Francis Bailey School. So you have a beautiful new campus. How else are you going to get new buildings for those two schools unless you take the opportunity in any major development that the town has to take? There's a lot of discussions ahead. There is a major debate on Thursday evening on the local plan at the district council. We'll then go out for further consultation before going to an inspector. There's a long way to go on this, and it is emotive. But up and down the country, we do need houses. That isn't to say, do we need them all to the north of Thatcham? I'll let you come back now.
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to point out, I was very, very careful. I didn't mention the number. Okay,
It's
so
not,
I admit to no particular number, and I don't restrain myself to any particular number. I deliberately did. We have to be careful because, for example, on the flats in the Chapel Street, the big argument that the developer used was, oh, it's not economic to allow any affordable housing. And this is a wriggle room that has been handed down to us by central government. And when I went to many years ago, the meeting that was presented to us by I can't remember, some consultants on the plan for North East Thatcham, again and again I hammered home, we need affordable housing for our young people in Thatcham. No, we don't want 1,000, 1,500, 2,500 mansions for the people who no longer wish to live in London. We're looking to try and look after the people who are here and don't want to move away. And there just isn't sufficient housing stock to allow them to be there. So whatever happens, it's not over to the ladies. Thank you.
thank you. I'll take your Councillor Pike. I don't think the numbers is a secret.
Not a secret. I just don't.
Councillor Pike.
So looking at the numbers from a different perspective, the number in the 15-year plan period, the first 15-year plan period, increases from 1,250 to 1,500. So in my my horizon in some of us, some others of us here, that the rate is increased. And the problem with the term affordable housing is it's a planning term which has a very weak relationship to the ability of first-time buyers to purchase it. And from my initial reading of the draft local plan, I don't think the policy is guaranteed to generate the type of affordable housing that first-time buyers could actually afford. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there's a debate going on Thursday evening. You can watch it on YouTube. Some of us will be there. and we will see where we get to. But obviously Thatcham will be impacted by it. Thank you for those reports. Are there anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to go on to reports for Town Council appointees to access bodies. Thatcham Welfare and Support Society. Councillor Lord is got and Councillor Jennifer Walker not here. Would you know whether it's met at all? Thank you very much. And then Thatcham Relief in Need Charity and Thatcham Parochial Charities. Councillor Mike Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Both flats which were vacant in the almshouses due to the sad death of two of our residents have now been let. We are attempting obviously to keep contributions for energy as low as can conceivably be kept. As far as Thatcham Relief in Need is concerned, so far this year, we have given out £14,000 of the income that we have received. Still marginally more income now that dividends have picked back up again than we were giving out. Combination of all sorts of things, mostly small amounts to individuals. White goods, carpets, curtains, people moving into housing society. That's not a word. Housing association. Thank you, Councillor Cotton. Housing association premises where they basically go in with vehicles. So that has been a key element. Plus, we've also given larger sums to other charities to enable them to do work as well.
Very good, thank you. And I think that concludes the business of the evening. I will therefore declare the meeting closed.